Every day, we strive to do more and be the best versions of ourselves. It's not an easy task, but success is available for each of us. Welcome to the Swag University podcast, where each week we explore insightful messages, strategies, and tips to help you level up in life. Your host, Dr. Phildra Swagger, creative strategist and mindset coach, will empower you with the tools you need to create the life and business you desire, while providing inspirational insights to the woman who wants to see her destiny manifested daily. So now, let's level up with Dr. Swag.
Hey, everybody. It's your girl, Dr. Swag, coming to you today one more time. Thank you so much for sharing this listening time with me. You know, I've had this slogan, I guess, in my mind for a little while that I just cannot seem to break. Actually, it's been a mantra for me this year, and it keeps saying, finish strong, start stronger, right? So it's really about crossing that finish line, getting you where you really need to be. It's how you end the game, how you play the game that determines if you get to go to the next level of the game. So that's what I want to talk about today. Finish strong, start stronger. You've heard me say it before because it has been a mantra for me this year. And as I was thinking about, what we could talk about today, you guys know I injured my knee a couple years back, or it's right at 2 years now. But before that, I completed 2 half marathons. Now, I will tell you, I do like to exercise, but I am by no stretch of the imagination an athlete. But accomplishing a half marathon, my goal used to be a full marathon, but now I just cannot get my mind wrapped around why I would voluntarily walk 26 miles. Having done 13, I feel very accomplished, okay? But preparing to complete a half marathon, not 1, but 2, took strategy. And it took strategy, perseverance, and determination for me to realize that I could get off the couch, I could get off a treadmill, I can get off an elliptical machine and actually walk for a purpose. One I did as a fundraiser, and the other one I did just as a challenge for myself. But I went from, 30 minutes, typical morning workout on the treadmill, to walking 3 miles a day. And walking 3 miles in the preparation is that 5K. A lot of times the 5K is the challenge. That is the goal. That is the stretch. But if you can do it in your own abilities, then maybe your goal is not as big as it needs to be. You need to have a stretch goal. And so my stretch goal was to really walk a half a marathon. And I say walk because I'm not a runner, but I did jog, walk, complete. And so I got a partner, I got a plan, and I walked. And the focus and the determination to get me to the end of that race is exactly what I want to talk to you about today. You have to have, and this is a quote I saw, a ferocious concentration and fanatical execution is what you need to finish strong. And as you finish strong, you have to make sure that you are working to be a high performer, right? I want you to do a couple things. I want to just share a couple tips. We've already talked this year about using the Year of Transformation planning tool. If you haven't grabbed that, go to my website, combinedexpertise.com. Drop me your email and it'll pop right into your email. And it talks about how to set annual goals, how to have monthly check-ins, but how to create the non-negotiables of daily minimum standards that lead back up to the big goal. The big goal is how you cross the finish line. You just have to chunk it. You just have to really pay attention to what it is. So I just want to take a few minutes, give you a few tips and insights that I am working on as we finish this fourth quarter and move forward to setting up quarter 1, okay? So first of all, take an inventory of your goals. What was it that you set out to do at the beginning of the project, at the beginning of the year, at the beginning of the contract? Review those goals and understand and determine if those goals are still valuable to you. It could have been a weight loss goal. You could have set a monetary goal. You could have set a fitness goal. Um, One of the things that I am really working on is reestablishing my network. And so for me, I have been in a large nonprofit for years now, and I would travel a lot. And so sometimes I would cancel or not be able to participate in the social things that I really wanted to participate in. So I was probably saying no more than I'd like to say no, or I would say yes and then have to cancel and turn it into a no. So one of my goals this year, it has been to make sure that every day part of my self-care, my business development, my realignment is to have a non-work related conversation with somebody that matters to me. And I've been pretty consistent about it throughout the year or throughout making that goal. I probably made that goal in the summertime when I realized that I was transitioning into a new full-time role. And so I have made a commitment to make sure that I re-engage in the people that I know I care about, know that I care about them, the relationships that I can add to in terms of being a business resource for someone, being an inspiration for someone, being just a help or a partner to someone has been a goal for me to do that. So my inventory on that is to inventory the relationships that I have in my life because they matter to me. So what's your big goal? Is it to run a half a marathon? Is it to have more relationships? Is it to hit a certain dollar number by the end of the year? And so assess the goal and then take an inventory of the resources and the time that you're putting to it. Because to everything, your time, talents, and your types, however you use those will help manifest. So you can look at inventory in terms of if you're working in a retail environment or if you're working in a fast food environment, you count the cups. How many cups do we have in inventory? Do we have enough burger buns for the day? Do we have enough ground beef prepped for the day? If you're in retail, are there enough sweaters on the shelf? If there are enough jeans in the folding table? Because those are the things that need to move. There's a supply and demand that responds to your inventory. If you need to be able to bill out more client time, how are you using your time? So take an inventory of the things and the people and the resources that you have that will help you achieve your big goal. Now, when you do that, I also want you to think about, and maybe you've heard the catch before, don't major in the minors. Think about how you're allocating your time. Are you spending a lot of your time answering emails or making calls or doing busy work that will not move you forward? Okay? So first, look at your goals and prioritize them to make sure that they're still important at the level that they were important when you set them. And then two, take an inventory of how you're using your resources to accomplish those goals, making sure that you're not majoring in minors and that you're not doing small things that don't move the project forward, that don't make you stronger in the long run. One of the things that you probably have also heard or you're familiar with is looking at the quadrants of productivity. And the quadrants of productivity are urgent versus important, right? Important tasks need to get done, yes, but urgent tasks need to be done sooner than later. And tasks that are urgent and important are the ones that should be completed first. So what you want to be able to do is really make sure that you're allocating time to important tasks so they don't become urgent tasks. Because urgent tasks have the tendency to take you off your agenda, right? Urgent, by definition, means that it requires an emergency level, an urgent level of attention. You had not accounted for the demand of that time, the demand of that resource, that demand of maybe even your emotion. Okay? So you want to make sure that if you can, as you can, work consistently toward outlining and identifying your important tasks. Understand what the inventory is and of time, talent, and resources that will be needed to accomplish that task, right? The second piece that I want to talk to you, I don't know if that's the second, maybe that's the third piece, because let's see, we said prioritize, inventory, and then look at your productivity quadrant. So look at me, I'm already on number 4. So I want you to think about the other piece around that, and the other piece around your productivity once you know that you're in your important work zone is just that. Understand what is your productivity zone. Some people work better in the morning. Some people work better in the evening. Some people work better early in the week because Fridays they don't want to work. Or some people prefer to have a slow Monday and pick up as the week goes along. It's very important for you to understand what your energy levels are and what your productivity zone is. Because when you're in your productivity zone, then you're able to really accomplish what is best for you, right? So there are times where when you're out of the zone and your mental faculties are low, right? This is when you have the brain drain. That might be the time that you can schedule your emails because you can sit, sip coffee, you can turn the music on. Radio. Did I date myself there? I don't know. Radio is still on, but everybody streams now, right? So whatever it is that your background noise is, I can work to music, but if I turn a television on and even if I'm not facing it, I will turn to look to see what that conversation is. So that is a distractor for me, even when I'm in the zone out mode and I just need to respond to emails, not emails that are contractual things, but some emails you just need to be able to respond to, where I can respond to autopilot and clean out the email box. I cannot do that with the television on. But that's something I've learned about myself. Learn when are you best at your productivity levels. Again, if you think about the week, are you stronger on Mondays? Are you stronger as the week goes on? One of the things that are strategies that I've learned as I grow as an entrepreneur is to do time blocking. So on Tuesday mornings, I spend time just to research new contacts, find out what is going on in my industry of coaching. Are there any learning opportunities for me? Are there any conferences, webinars? What can I do this week to make me stronger at what it is that I do? On Thursdays, I try to make sure that I have called and returned every call that's been that I've received this week, and so that I don't have loose ends, and so I can finish out the week feeling as if I have nothing unfinished. Because finally, once you get to the end of a project or end of the work day, the work week, I want the most urgent task. And now remember I said, let's try to avoid urgent tasks. I want urgent task, important task completed. Because there's another little piece that I like to think about. If, as I close a project, what are the things that I can do to set up the next project? Remember, the topic is finish strong, start stronger. So as I finish a project, are there startup projects? Are there splinters off of the project that I'm working on, off of the goal that I can put in the open loop? And that's what I call it, an open loop, open basket for me to pick up on. As an example, in the running and the marathons and so forth, I used to always log everything. I would log what I ate. I would log how much I call it pavement time, just because I like to walk outdoors. I couldn't do my training all on the treadmill, but it was important to actually just get outside. how much did I did? How much would I accomplish? And in the half marathon, I use the Coach to Half Marathon um, app. You you build up your distance, right? So each week you add a little more distance. You get up to about 10 or 11 miles. You really never train the whole 13 miles. But each time that I would grow a little, I would think, okay, now if I take this route, because there was a trail that I like, if I take this route back, it would automatically add about a half a mile. And so even before I got to the next milestone, I was pushing myself to make sure that, I'm going to be ready for that. I'm going to be ready for this. And so I just encourage you to make sure that as you are coming to this fourth quarter end, fourth quarter is where it all counts, right? Well, I won't say where it all counts because you have to be consistent throughout the year. This year we named it the year of my transformation, right? So I want you to think about what you did throughout the year consistently, where your gaps were, and then as you prioritize what goals really have to be finished for the year, how you wrap up quarter four to set up quarter one. Because guess what? Next year will be your year of transformation again. Because as women, as business owners, as leaders, community folks, we always want to think about how we can continue to stretch ourselves to get across the finish line, okay? So yes, you transformed this year. You learned new things about yourself. You accomplished new things, but next year presents a whole new opportunity to do it again. So make sure that as you think about this long stretch, that you haven't just run the race. You haven't run the race. You've been consistent about what it is that you do. Prioritize your goals. Take an inventory of your resources. Determine what is your productivity and how and what it is that you need to be able to go to the next level. Know what your productivity zone is and when you're zoning out, and how to use and maximize both of those so that you're not leaving things unfinished, but you're creating setups, opportunity loops for you to get to the next level. It's always about being prepared. You don't have to get ready if you stay ready. And it's the whole momentum of being consistent and clear and concise on your dreams, okay? So just being consistent about how to finish strong. Stay clear on your focus. Okay, so like I said, you have to be fanatical about execution and knowing that no matter what is going on around you, your goal is clear. You have a clear goal. You have a clear execution plan. You know what resources you have through your inventory check, and you've put your work in the important but not urgent category so that you can handle urgent matters. And I'm going to tell you, this brings to me the story that we all know from years ago as children, the hare and the tortoise. So that's what I want to end with today, to share that story with you, to remind you that you can accomplish what you set out to accomplish. And so the story goes like this. A hare was making fun of the tortoise one day for being so slow. "Do you ever get anywhere?" he asked with a mocking laugh. "Yes," replied the tortoise. "And I get there sooner than you think. I'll run you a race and prove it." The hare was much amused at the idea of running a race with the tortoise. But for the fun of the thing, he agreed. So the fox, who had consented to act as judge, marked the distance and started the runners off. The hare, as you can imagine, was soon far out of sight, and to make the tortoise feel very deeply how ridiculous it was for him to try to race with the hare, he lay down beside the course to take a nap until the tortoise should catch up. Well, the tortoise, meanwhile, kept going slowly but steadily, and after a time, he passed the place where the hare was sleeping. But the hare slept on very peacefully. And when at last he did wake up, the tortoise was near the goal. The hare now ran his swiftest, but could not overtake the tortoise in time. So what's the lesson in the story? The race is not always to the swift, but to the consistent, right? You have to stay your course. So, as I said, remember, finish strong to start stronger. Stay in the race. Know that you are ferociously concentrated and fanatically ready to execute your plan for greatness. There's non-negotiables in your life, and there's non-negotiables in your business. Stay on course and do what you do. As always, this is your girl, Dr. Swagger. Stay blessed to be a blessing.
Glad you joined our conversation. For more Swag University episodes, subscribe on iTunes and help us level up by leaving a 5-star review. For more information and free resources, visit our website at swaguniversity.com with 2 G's. That's SWAGG University.com. Also, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to keep the conversation going. Until next time, we hope this episode has inspired you to manifest your destiny and level up today.